Okay, good morning class. So today we're looking at the last of the examples for financial maths. The examples for exercise 11.9. Depreciation. Okay, exercise 11.9 is on page 392. Okay. So let's see what they say about depreciation. We spoke about depreciation last year already, not so? Well, you only did inflation last year. Inflation. Okay, so basically what happens is equipment, basically items lose value over time. Not so? Yes. Like a car could cost today, a brand new car, probably 250,000 Rand. Next year that same car would be maybe 220,000. So the car actually depreciated by 30,000. You understand? Also a car could cost 250,000 Rand today, and then in 3 years time the same car could be worth 150,000. 100,000. The car has lost or depreciated by 150,000. You guys understand? And that if the car is valued after 3 years at 100,000 Rand, that 100,000 Rand is called the book value of the vehicle. Okay, you guys understand? So book value is what's the value of the car currently after depreciation has taken place. And there's two types of depreciation. Depreciation is straight line basis, where after a certain amount of time that item will be worth nothing. Okay? Yes. And you'll have reducing balance method. Like if you look at a car that is 20 years old, a 20-year-old car. Today that car still has some value, not so. And that is what we call diminishing balance method or reducing balance method. Okay? Alright, you guys understand? Alright, so depreciation. Let's see what they say what depreciation is. Depreciation is the loss of value of an asset through use or age. Depreciation is normally calculated in two different ways, depending on the type of the asset. Like, after 10 years, would this computer be worth anything? Would anyone, one of you want to buy this computer after 10 years? No, because it will be outdated, it won't be able to withstand the new software and stuff like that. So computers, cell phones, would you want to buy a 5-year-old cell phone? No. So cell phones, computers, things like that would be on straight line basis. So after 5 years, that thing is worth nothing. You understand? Whereas a car, after 5 years or after 10 years, even 20 years, that car will still be worth something. Okay? So, straight line depreciation is calculated as a percentage of the original value of the asset and is the same each year. The value of the asset reduces to zero over time. Reducing balance depreciation is calculated as a percentage of the previous year's value. In this case, the depreciation changes each year and it decreases as the asset loses value. With reducing balance depreciation, the asset will always retain some value. That's what I'm trying to tell you all the time. Book value is the value of the asset after depreciation has been taken into account. That's also what I mentioned already. Items that have very little resale value are depreciated on straight line basis. Example, computers and cell phones. Such items are computers, printers, electronic equipment, and furniture. Expensive items that has a book value after a number of years can be resold are normally depreciated on reducing balance. These would include heavy machinery, trucks, aeroplanes, ships, and so on. Formulas used to calculate a depreciation. You can write this down. A straight line depreciation follows the formula A is equal to P into 1 minus I times N. While reducing balance depreciation, also known as diminishing balance method, diminishing balance depreciation, uses the formula a is equal to p into 1 minus I to the exponent. Okay, those are the two formulas we will be exposed to in this exercise. Right, so now we are told A is the value of the asset after depreciation, B is the original value of the asset, N is the number of years after the asset was purchased, I is the rate of depreciation per annum of the asset. Okay. So this example is on page
319.
Sorry?
319.
Example page 319.
19.
90. Okay. Right, let's go. First example. We are told that a set of computers is bought by a company for 580,000. Which value is that 580,000, people? Your P value. Not so. These equipments are depreciated by 25% per annum on straight line basis. So if it says straight line basis, what do we know?
Straight line.
Straight line formula. What's the formula? A is equal to P into 1 minus I times. So we have 580,000 into 1 minus I 0.25 multiplied by at the end of 3 years multiplied by. Do that calculation. So we'll have 518,000 into 1 minus 0.25 times 3. So the book value of that is going to be 145,000. As you can see, it lost 75% of its value. It's worth a quarter of its value. Can you see that? You guys understand? Is there any confusion? The B part of the question says, what will the book value of the computer be after 4 years? What formula do I use now? Same formula. A is equal to P into 1 minus I times T. What's your principal or your starting value? 580,000 rand into 1 minus 0.25 times 4 years. Work that out. What do you get? So what does that mean, people? After 4 years, this set of computers bought by the companies were 0. Nobody's willing to buy that. Okay? With the book value, the value of the resale value on that item is basically 0. Okay? Look at example 2. Example 2 is on the same page, correct? Example 2 is on page 391. A farmer buys a combined harvester for 1,450,000 rand. Calculate the value of the harvester at the end of 5 years. His depreciation is calculated at 18% per annum on reducing balance method. Reducing balance formula, or depreciation using reducing balance formula. What's the formula? A is equal to P into 1 minus I, the exponent. Not so. What's your P value? 1,450,000 into 1 minus I 0,18 to the exponent. 5. As it says after 5. So something to note also at this point, they wouldn't say it's depreciation taking place.
Mr. Cody,
Yes, ma'am?
I'm sorry for the interruption. I need to know from mailing. Can you send it to the office, please?
No problem, miss. Okay, so with regards to this value here, what now? Oh yeah, they wouldn't tell you it's depreciation 18% semi-annually or quarterly, whatever. The depreciation is done on yearly basis. Okay. At that school, huh? About university. Or in reality. Okay, so basically what happens here is 1,450,000 rand into 1 minus 0.18 to the exponent 5. Gives you a value of, or a book value of 537,572 rand. 572 rand and 77 cents. So if the farmer after 5 years decides to sell this combined harvester, this is the price or the book value of the item. Okay, you guys understand? Okay. There is other factors that links into that for the selling price. Okay, provided that he has done the services on time and things like that. Okay, because if he didn't look after the machine, of course he's not going to get the full amount. Not so. A company buys a front end loader at the cost of 1,800,000. The book value of the front end loader at the end of 4 years is 720,000 rand. So people, what value is this? 1.8 million. What is this? P value. The book value of the front end loader at the end of 4 years. What is going to be the 4? N. What value is this? A. Calculate the annual rate. So in other words, I'm going to calculate I or R. Not so. Of depreciation, if the depreciation is determined on in a straight line basis. So if they say straight line basis, what do? Straight line formula. What's the formula? A is equal to P into 1 minus I times N. What's your A value? 720,000 rand. Your P value? 1,800,000 into 1 minus I is what you're calculating times N. 4 years. Can you see that, people? So how do we solve for I? Divide both sides by 1.8 million. 1,800,000. Okay, so what I get is 720,000 over 1,800,000. Gives us 2 over 5. 2 over 5 is equal to 1 minus 4i. Not so. What do we do now? We take the 1 over the equal sign. Becomes minus 1. Not so. And then divided by negative 4 both sides. And then I multiplied by 100 to get the rate. All okay with that? Okay, so you got 2 over 5. Did anybody get the answer? What's the answer? 0.15. If I multiply it by 100, I get 15%. Okay. Do you guys understand? Look at B. B is a reducing balance. What formula do you use for a reducing balance? A is equal to P into 1 minus I. What's your A value? 720,000 Rand equals 180,000 Rand into 1 minus I to the exponent 4. Okay. So what do? I divide by 1,800,000 both sides. So I get again 2 over 5. Not so. But that is now equal to 1 minus I to the 4. Can I take that 1 over the equal sign as I did before? No. What do I have to do first? The fourth root. You all agree with that? So it's the fourth root of 2 over 5, which is irrational, equals 1 minus I. What do I do now? Make I the subject of the formula. So I is equal to 1 minus the fourth root of 2 over 5. What do I do then? Multiply that answer by 100 to get the rate. So we get 1 minus the fourth root of 2 over 5. Gives you 0, 204, you multiply it by 100, you get 20,47%. Okay. Was there any confusion? Is there any confusion in this one? I think it's fairly simple, huh? Fairly simple. Let's carry on. Example 4. Example 4, which page example 4 on?
391.
Same page. 91. Let's pull up the next questions now. Right. So here we are told a transport company buys a truck at the cost of 720,000 Rand. Determine the book value of the truck at the end of 5 years if depreciation is calculated at 18% per annum on the reducing balance method. Right. So what formula do I use? Reducing balance formula. What is the formula? A is equal to P into 1 minus I to the exponent E. What's your P value? 720,000 into 1 minus your I value 18%, so 0.18 to the exponent 5 as it is for 5 years. Let's see what we get. 720,000 into 1 minus 0.18 to the exponent 5. Not picking up the 0 point. So the value of the truck is 266,000. 266,932 Rand and 69 cents. You all got that? Let's look at B. B says calculate the cost of a similar truck in 5 years' time if the expected rate of inflation is 4.5% per annum. What does that mean? The cost of the truck will cost more. A similar truck would cost more in 5 years' time. Not so. If you had bought a Toyota Corolla 5 years ago, a brand new one, at 180,000, do you think you're going to buy the brand new Toyota Corolla this year for the same price? No, it's going to escalate. Okay, if I talk to you guys, I must talk with Porsches and stuff, no? Yes, Lisa Kanya says yes. Right. So what's the formula for inflation? A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent. Alright. So what do we get? 720,000 Rand into 1 plus 0,045 to the exponent 5. Okay, so 720,000 Rand into 1 plus 0,045 to the exponent 5 gives you an answer of 897,000. 897,250. Why 51?
Sorry, you said 251. You said 250.
897,250, comma.
Just 250.
Did it say to the nearest rand?
Yes.
Where? Did it say the nearest rand in your book?
Yes, I said 251. Yes, I said example.
Doesn't say to the nearest rand. Then you don't have to write it to the nearest rand. Oh, it does. Hey, there's rounded off people. Come on. So it's 251. You're just a bit too fast for me, Lisa Kanye. Will you guys understand? Somebody took it out. I checked in the storeroom, you know.
Nothing in the store. Next one.
People, the next question says, calculate the amount of money required at the end of 5 years if the old truck is sold at its book value. What's the book value of the truck? 266,932.69 cents. If the old truck is sold at its book value and the money is used towards purchase of a new truck. And how much will the new truck cost in 5 years' time? 879,251. Which means to say the difference between the two, if I subtract the two, that is the amount of money I would need in 5 years' time. You all agree with that? And that's what we call a shortfall. Okay? Shortfall amount. Okay, so they calculate the amount of money required. So amount required. Or you could have said shortfall is going to be 897,251 Rand minus 266,932 Rand and 69 cents. So it's going to be, that is the last answer calculated, minus 266,932 Rand and 69 cents. Gives us, how much is required? 630,318 Rand and 31 cents. So the company needs to, yes? Is that correct? So the company needs to raise 630,318 Rand and 31 cents. You guys understand? Otherwise, if they don't save this amount at the end of over the 5 year period, then that means to say once they trade in that truck and they want to buy a similar truck in 5 years' time, they would have to cough up 630,318 Rand. You understand? Which is a lot of money. Okay, at once. So what they do is they actually start saving for this amount, and that is called a sinking fund. Okay, they put money into a fund, but now as they're putting money away, what happens? If they are saving money, what happens? And they put it in an account, it increases. It draws in interest. Not so. By drawing an interest, they're actually gaining on the money that is invested. Okay? Instead of after 5 years they don't have this money and take out the loan, and then they're actually going to pay an interest. Okay? Both is correct, no? Right. People D. The question says a company decides to set up a fund. Okay. The company decides to set up a fund. Put that on top there. The company decides to set up a fund to replace the old truck at the end of 5 years. They deposit 100,000 rand into the fund when the truck is 1 year old. Okay, so which means to say, did they start immediately at T0? No, so timeline. So we go T1. What happens? They deposit 100,000 rand. There's 100k into the fund when the truck is 1 year old. 150,000 rand when the truck is 2 years old, and 200,000 rand when the truck is 3 years old. Calculate how much money will have accumulated in the fund at the end of 5 years. If the interest paid on the money in the fund is 13% per annum compounded annually. 13% per annum compounded annually. So this is, where does it stop? At T1. Can you see that, people? Remember, how much do they need? They need 630,000. How much did they deposit so far? That is 100, 300, 450,000 rand. Can you see? 450,000 rand is deposited so far. What's the question? Calculate how much money will have accumulated in the fund at the end of 5 years. So what we do is, we say A total is equal to, the formula is A total is equal to P into 1 plus I to the end. Right. So can we take this 100,000 to the end? Yes. There's no interest change. So it's going to be 100,000 into 1 plus 0.13 to the exponent 4 years. Can you see that, people? Plus 150,000 rand into 1 plus 0.13 to the exponent 3 years. Not so. Then 200,000 is added. 200,000 into 1 plus 0.13 to the exponent 2 years. Let's check. So it's going to be 1.13. This adds up to 1.13. Okay, and all of this. So I'm going to say 100,000. Answer exponent 4 plus 150,000. Answer exponent 3 plus 200,000. Answer exponent 2. 634,000. Can you see it, people? So they have gotten in return, or in total, 634,861 rand and 91 cents. So do they have enough? Do they have enough money to purchase this truck, the brand new truck, brand new, considering they're selling it? Yes. Even though they have saved 350,000, no? Yeah, 350,000. They got a whopping 634,000. Let's see how much are they over or surplus. So you say 630, 318, comma 3. They have a surplus of 4,543 Rand and 60 cents. Okay. Do you guys understand? Right. So that basically brings us to the end of the examples for finance. You all agree with that? Now we're going to do the exercises that you guys have done so far. Okay. For homework, I would like you guys to do exercise 11.9 odd numbers. Okay. The full lesson can be found in the description box below.